Hey, welcome back to The Hungry Guy. Today we are going to make Carne Asada taco bowls. Here we have our skirt steak. And we're going to season and marinate the steak. And I've already made up the marinade, but I want to tell you what's in it. The first thing we have in our marinade is 1 tablespoon of chili powder. I have 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. I have 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. I have 1 teaspoon of sea salt. It's pink sea salt. I have 1 teaspoon of black ground pepper. I have a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Half a teaspoon of onion powder. A half teaspoon of oregano. I added some red pepper flakes to taste, and I also added a half a teaspoon of chipotle powder, again for heat. Red pepper flakes for heat, a little bit of chipotle powder for flavor and heat. So now we're just going to marinate. I'm going to add this to this little storage bag. We have some cilantro. Here, I'm just going to give it a quick chop. I'll throw this in the bag. I'm going to cut a lime and juice this lime. We'll get that marinated. We'll add a little more marinade just for kicks and giggles. Give this a good mix. So with our carne asada, we're going to make a pico de gallo, and I'm going to show you how to make a pico de gallo. First of all, we're going to start out by chopping up this cilantro. We need about a half a cup of cilantro. About a half a cup of cilantro, 1 jalapeno. We're going to de-seed this jalapeno. Next, we're going to cut up our onion. Now, this recipe calls for a half of onion. If you notice, I'm cutting up a quarter of an onion because I'm going to use white onion and red onions. We're going to move on to our tomatoes. And again, this is about a pound of Roma tomatoes. All right, now that we have all of that done, we're going to put in about 2 tablespoons of lime juice. So about 2 tablespoons lime juice. And then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of salt, and you can do this to taste. So a half a teaspoon of salt, and then 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper, and again, you can do this to taste. I'm using a half a teaspoon here, so I'm just going to literally do it to taste. Then you want to give this a good mix. pico de gallo. It's ready to go. We're gonna let this sit and marinate, a little longer while we cook our steak. Okay, so our steak is marinated for about 2 hours. Actually, it's been 2 hours. And you can see it's nice and marinated. Now I cut it into sections so it would be easier to handle on the grill. We're gonna take our steak out to the grill and get her cooking. So I wanted to do this as authentically as possible, so I use real hardwood charcoal. We're just gonna put our steaks right on the grill. You can hear that is absolutely hot. Get in there. Pour all that good juice on there. We're gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna cover it and we'll be right. All right. Steaks have been on for 5 minutes. I'm gonna flip these buddies. Just really wanna keep an eye on them. You don't wanna overcook this steak. Man, this smell, I wish you guys could smell this. All right, let's give it a go. 5 more minutes. All right, so this has been about 15 minutes. This smells amazing. I can't tell you how amazing this smells. It smells absolutely wonderful. We're gonna take it in, we're gonna cut it up. So we're back inside. We have our meat ready. And we're gonna cut this up. We're gonna cut the meat up. So the grain of this skirt steak runs this way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this against the grain, right? And the reason why is because it makes it a little bit more tender. So we're gonna cut it against the grain, then we're gonna cut it with the grain. And now I am going to make us a guacamole to go with our recipe as well. So our recipe for our guacamole is going to be 3 avocados, 3 tablespoons of cilantro, 2 garlic cloves, 1 jalapeno, 1 lime, 2 Roma tomatoes, half a yellow onion, and a half teaspoon of salt, or salt to taste. However, because I don't want to make that much, I have modified the recipe a bit. So we have our jalapeno, we have our onion. This is about 1/4 of the amount that you would make, So just less tomato, and I have my cilantro, which is only a tablespoon, and in the recipe, it's 3 tablespoons of cilantro. So, and I have much less lime juice. This is juice from 1 lime, and I'll probably only put maybe a tablespoon of lime in the recipe. So, and it calls for 2 cloves of garlic. You can see. So one of the things I really want to talk about is cutting up your avocado. Now, if you cut into your avocado, there's a hard core, and my knife has hit that core. If you just cut into it and then just roll around that core and then twist, look at that beautiful avocado. We're gonna add our jalapeno, our onion. Stir that in. Add our cilantro, lime juice. Again, this is a tablespoon of cilantro, tablespoon. But this is for my modified. Salt to taste. Last but not least, garlic in the garlic press. We have our guacamole. Okay, we have our carne asada. We have our guacamole. We have our pico de gallo. We have queso fresco, I'm sorry. We have our lime, avocado, fresh tomato, a little bit of cilantro. And now we're gonna plate. Oh, and our lettuce, our romaine lettuce. So we're gonna place this in our bowl. There you go. Beautiful carne asada taco bowl. Easy to make and absolutely delicious. Thank you for joining The Hungry Guy. Stay hungry, my friends. If you guys really want to help out the channel, please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to do so. And if you want to continue to see recipes like this, please like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section below. Stay hungry, my friends.